At the time now, it's 5:30, so we're gonna go ahead and call our meeting in order. We're now in session for the Board of Aldermen and the Mayor of the City of Brownsville. We're now in session. First thing on our agenda, I'd like to ask, Alderman Bishop, you lead us in the word of prayer.
Thank you, Mayor. If you would, please bow your head. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this beautiful day that you've given us. Thank you for your watchful eye as you looked over us and watched after us and given us what we need to succeed, not only here in Brownsville as a city, but as individuals in our community. Thank you so much for your grace. Thank you for your mercy. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
And we stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Seated. Well, we know why everybody's here tonight, so it is definitely an honor and a privilege to see this transition in our community and with our leadership. Come on in, people. Before we get there, we do have to have the approval of the minutes from our last regular meeting. Now, all the aldermen here, so we want to make sure we have our records in order. All right. Are there any questions, concerns from the aldermen concerning the meetings of the regular scheduled meeting on June 13th?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes for June 13th, 2023.
It's been so moved. I hear a second. Second. Any questions, concerns from the aldermen? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, let us know by the sign of aye. Those opposed, nay. Next on the agenda, we have a special call board meeting. In that meeting, we had one agenda item, and that was the sale of the land, 121 acres, to Income Industries. And then the due diligence part of the discovery. So we're still very optimistic and very, very, very proud of this, having this opportunity to have this community develop with high-tech jobs, high-paying jobs, and with investment in our tax base. So at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve the special call board meeting minutes, June 26, 2023. Do I hear a motion? It's been moved. I hear a second.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. Any questions, concerns, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, let it know by the sign of aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Now we can get to the business. I'm gonna come around front and step away from my microphone because it's pretty loud so you can hear me. Chief Cabinet, would you come forward, please? First of all, I'd like to say thank you. Taking on the responsibility of leading the police department, being responsible for public safety in our community is no joke. And you got a phone call to prove it. Even several today. I don't think there's not a day go by that we don't communicate about issues minor and major in our community. You address each of them with passion and concern and respect for the people that pay our paychecks. So for that, I'm utterly proud to have this opportunity to swear you in. Raise your right hand and face me. I, state your name.
Kelvin Evans,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
and will obey
and will obey
the laws of the United States
the law of the United States
and the state of Tennessee.
and the state of Tennessee.
That I will,
That I will,
in all respects,
in all respects,
observe the provisions
observe the provisions
of the Charter
of the Charter
and the ordinances
and ordinances
of the City of Brownsville.
of the City of Brownsville.
And that I will
And I will
faithfully
faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
of Brownsville Police Chief.
of Brownsville Police Chief.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. You know, sometimes some things you see you don't see, especially when you stand in front of the room. First person on his feet was Chief Haynes. This is our assistant chief. We'll be doing the town hall meeting and the State of the City address on July 20th here. We can talk to these gentlemen. I am super confident about our ability to manage the growth and the safety of our community. I appreciate you, gentlemen. Thank you for all of what you do. Thank you, congratulations. All right. Chief Randall Lynn Sanders, would you come forward? I can't say enough about this man as well. We know the senior fireman left a big void to fill. Same at work ethic, different personality. Chief Sanders doesn't have a lot to say, but he's a doer. He has leadership qualities that the fire department has stepped up in ways that you can't even imagine, because I've seen it from the front row. Public safety being a key component of this community, and everybody's okay, hey, you see your firefighters, but when your house is on fire, you're trapped in your vehicle during that golden hour, these are the guys you want to come get you. They're well trained, they're well equipped, and they're passionate, and they're getting younger. We have some young firefighters that come in that are going to get the skills that they need to be great firefighters. I want our department here to be a training center. I want to be a pilot program. We bring in Blue Opal. The Brownsville Fire Department will be responsible for safety of everyone in Haywood County, and that's no joke. And for that, I'm very proud to serve with you and have you as our chief. Would you raise your right hand? I, Randall Lynn Sanders, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and that I will obey the laws of the United States and the state of Tennessee. That I will, in all respects, observe the provisions of the charter and the ordinances of the city of Brownsville. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Brownsville Fire Chief. So help me God. Thank you. You guys come up. Everybody, the rest of the firefighters here, come up. This cannot be done without a team. And the leadership in the fire department, these guys eat together, sleep together, fight fires together, rescue people together. It's a different lifestyle, and it's a career. If you've never been out to the training facility we have at the Brownsville Fire Department, see actually what they have to do. To run into a burning building, you have to be a different kind of person. But with safety, equipment, and training, they're ready to go. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for the public safety. Thank you, John. He said we don't sleep together.
Not a man of many words, but when they are, they're coming.
All right. Next action item on our agenda for tonight is our superintendent, Ms. Amy Marsh with HTL University. HTL is Haywood, Lauderdale, and Tipton counties. Change that word a little bit. And welcome aboard. The floor is yours. You can use the microphone, the podium if you like, whatever you need.
All right, I believe she's pulling up the PowerPoint. Good evening. So excited that I got to come on such a great evening when we had our new chiefs being installed. Very excited to be a part of that and very excited about what they're going to do for our community. HTL University, you've probably heard people talking about it in various venues, but what does that really mean? I want to kind of give you some background on that so that as a community, when it comes up, you'll know what we're talking about and what it means for our community. HTL is an acronym for Haywood, Tipton, and Lauderdale, but it's not HTL Advantage, which a lot of people think it is. This is HTL University. The acronym comes from the fact that 3 counties will participate. Haywood County, Tipton County, Lauderdale County. You see the H's first, we like that. And it kind of went with the HTL Advantage, so people went with that name. But what it is a first time ever collaborative between school districts in an attempt to expand our CTE programs. And the reason why this is so groundbreaking is because Louisville, as we know and we've talked about ad nauseum really, is just this amazing opportunity for all of West Tennessee. And it's an amazing opportunity for Haywood County. So we want to, for our students and for our families, take advantage of that. HTL University will position our K-12 students and families for these jobs of the future. Not just Blue Oval, but all the other industry that comes in as a result of this expansion in our community. And as that growth continues and as jobs change, this will change with it so that our students are prepared. And as you'll see while we go through, not only our students, but our families are prepared for this change. It's, as I said, a partnership that allows us to really unlock the economy of scale. This, at the last slide, you always say the last slide for the money slide, right? So on the last slide, what you'll see is what this costs. If we collaborate and do it together, it's much more sustainable and actually becomes cheaper than if we each did it individually. So it is a collaborative. And it's really a blueprint, and I feel confident about that because we've been in front of the governor with this presentation. I, along with the other two superintendents, we've been in front of the U.S. Secretary of Economic Development out at the Blue Oval facility. We talked to every state representative in West Tennessee about this. And everyone understands what groundbreaking work this is. And because no one's ever done that, and we know that because we researched it, it is a blueprint for others to follow. So what we're doing here is really groundbreaking and will really open the doors for other communities to emulate and follow as they expand their CTE programs for students. Next slide. So this, I say the money slide's at the end, but this to me is really the money slide because it tells you why this is so important. It's important because if you look at these three counties combined, these three counties, what you see is that we have 55,266 adults that are ages 25 to 64. Huge working population, right? 12,088 adults with an associate's degree or higher within these three counties. 16,000 students across the three school districts. And 1,200 high school graduates every single year that come out of these three counties. Why is that a big deal? It's a big deal because that's a huge labor force. It's a huge workforce, and one that these industries that are coming into our county need to tap into, and that we need to prepare our students and families for so that they can take advantage of those opportunities. But what really gets me is when you look at this, look at that very bottom line under the score line going across. 72% of our workforce in these three counties, over 22,000 people a day, drive out of these three counties to work in larger communities. That's a problem. We want our people to stay here, to work here, to live here, to build our communities and our economies, right? So to me, this is the money slide, because when you think about how many people leave and how this collaborative with London, I just saw that was right there, so that's a lot more convenient. I don't have to keep turning around. You realize really what we can do with this, right? So let me tell you a little bit more about it. Next slide. This is just a little bit of background, but basically to build this work started long before I came. I dove like straight into the middle of it as it was coming to fruition. And this really talks about all the initiatives across the country and all the people that were used as a resource to build this program. Not that important in the slide, but the next one is much more important. What is it? What is HTL University and who does it affect? It affects three groups of people. It affects educators, it affects students, and it affects families. And here's how. For our students, if they come out of this HTL University footprint, these three districts working together, they're going to graduate either with a high school credential, an associate's degree or a degree from TCAT, progress toward a 4-year degree, or a guaranteed apprenticeship opportunity. So every child gets one of 4 opportunities to pursue what they want for the rest of their life, and we set them up for that. The important piece here also is the educators, because right now in all of these districts we have CTE programs and we have people who work in them, right? But what we don't have is a synchronicity of those efforts where these people aren't just educated on what it is they go into the classroom and teach each day, but on how we help students find their pathway, how we know that this child is the right fit for this career, and this is the path they should go down, whether it's one of those, whichever of the four it is of those above that we just mentioned, right? And this story, and I tell it over and over, and I'm going to tell it again because I think it's important. My own son should have gone through a CTE program. 22 years old, just graduated in December from Mississippi State University. I literally dragged him kicking and screaming through college. 100% I did. He would have been much better served, and it is more his skill set to have gone down a CTE pathway. And quite honestly, he'd probably make a lot more money than he will coming out with the degree he came out with. But he's 22 years old. He started high school a long time ago. Back then, this wasn't as big of a push. Now, it was there, and I was an educator, and I should have seen it coming, but I didn't. And for my own child, I didn't help him find the right path. So, as a mother, that was a failing, and as parents, we all know we have failings as parents. This is the biggest one I probably own. He would have been better suited in a CTE pathway. So that's why this is so important to me as a parent and as a leader of a school district. Children need choices. You can't fit a square peg into a round hole. You need to give them opportunities. And that's what this is about. So, for the educator, the important part is knowing about and being educated on these different pathways, and I'll tell you how we'll do that in just a second. Another important piece that I think is really the wraparound service that brings us all together is the families. In the HTL footprint, we want to make sure that families are informed regarding future career potential. I was that parent who did not know. When you said CTE, oh, my boy's not doing that. I didn't know better. We need our parents to know better and know the career and wage earning opportunity they have with going down these different pathways. We also need avenues for children who have aged out of our programs so we can bring them back in and get them the skills they need to get into the workforce. We also need to educate families about the jobs that are available for parents in these same fields. And that's the wraparound service that HTL University provides. It isn't just pathways for children. It isn't just support for helping them find what it is they want to do with a career. It's a community and family support system that ensures everyone who is interested gets the support they need to find what it is that they can do and how they can contribute. Every year, these three counties, every 5 years, these three counties produce 5,000 graduates. Think about how many jobs that is. We're not even talking about those who've already aged out or parents who have opportunities that they're not pursuing. That alone, in 5 years, you've affected 5,000 children. Next slide. So, we talked about students, we talked about educators, we talked about families. This is a little more in-depth about what that looks like. For students, it means a couple of things. It means we start much, much earlier. We don't wait till high school to go, oh, do you want to go down a CTE pathway? Do you want a credential? Do you want, what do you want to do? We start early. We start in early elementary school. We start giving children opportunities to figure out what it is they like and what they're good at. If you have children, if you have children that have grown up, you knew early on what they were going to be good at and what they were interested in. And think about, if we tap into that early, how much opportunity we can provide for them. So that means starting in the school setting, giving them project-based learning where they can learn what it is and how it is to solve problems in the real work world like we have to do. They can have those maker spaces where they get to try things. They have STEM extracurricular activities where they find the thing, whatever that thing is, that they're good at and they are interested in. Then when we get to middle school, we're talking about career exposure. Those interest inventories that everyone thinks are a waste of time, they are not. My son's interest inventory every year said the same doggone thing. And I still pushed him to a 4-year college. They tell you something. We have to listen to them, right? So in middle school, it means having those aptitude inventories where they figure out what it is they want to do, creating opportunities for them to explore careers while they're in middle school, like, hey, if you did this, you could have this opportunity. This is what it looks like to be this in the world of work. This is what this job opportunity is. So they have an idea. When I was in middle school, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I did. But I didn't know what that looked like, other than seeing what happened in school every day. No one let me sit with the teacher and lesson plan. No one let me go to the faculty meeting and see what happens in a faculty meeting and all the work teachers really do, right? This gives these kids opportunities to see the workforce in motion and see if that interests them. So that post-secondary exploration. It also means increased work-based learning in high school, because once we help them find a path, they can start much earlier in high school down the right path to get whatever pathway they're interested in. So in high school, it means enhancing engineering, transport, and tool and die pathways. And there's just a few listed there. There are so many more, right? This is just to give you an idea. It means increasing access to CTE pathways through creative scheduling. Making sure, yeah, they get their math, their science, their ELA, and their social studies, but they also get these CTE opportunities to build those skills so that they're ready for the world of work. It also means expanding dual enrollment and dual credit, so that while in high school, they're getting college or career tech credit. Giving them opportunities way earlier. I'm not saying y'all are old, but you're all about as old as me. So we didn't have this, right? This gives them that opportunity, gives them a lot of opportunity. Moving on to educators, it means developing our educators. So incorporating educator training and stipends for STEM and in-demand pathways. An amazing law just was passed that allows us to bring people in the world of work, in CTE pathways, into the school setting and teach without a teaching license. Now there's a caveat, we gotta have an adult that's licensed or employed by the district in there with them, but think about that. These people can come in and teach now. They don't have to go through college again to get another career and a second license and all these things. This opens tremendous doors. We get to partner with post-secondary for occupational license pathways. So looking at those different pathways and building partnerships with the organizations that provide those so that we can get them going earlier and get them certified to do these things. It means exposing teachers to local industries. So going out to Blue Oval, going out to SK, going out to NPEN, so they can see what's going on out there and how they can bring that back into their classroom and create a real world situation. It isn't just a simulation. And it also means investing in shared educators for specialty areas like mechatronics. And this is where the HTL part comes in. For us to have one just by ourselves, crazy expensive. But if we share it among the 3 districts, we can do so much more that way. The other part for educators is the advising piece, and this is where I think everyone thinks of that first part, right? They don't think about the second part, that advising piece. Training current counselors to support students with advisement on post-secondary and workforce opportunities, really knowing what they're talking about when they sit down with children and talk about their options. Hiring additional capacity, and we'll talk about that in a second, to connect to student interest with industry and post-secondary. So connecting those educators to our schools. And then piloting advanced manufacturing distinction, which is a whole another level. But it isn't just about the development of the educator themselves, it's about developing them so that they can help our children find the right pathway. That's the 2-pronged piece. And then last but not least, and I told you this is kind of my favorite part, the family connection. Offering college courses for families through HTL universities, for those parents at home who didn't realize they could even have these kind of opportunities, not just the students. It's hosting family learning series with Ford and other local industry partners so they can learn about what this looks like for their child. So they won't be like me and go, no, my son's not doing that. If I had seen what I saw 2 weeks ago at Blue Oval, I'd have been beating down someone's door to get my son in that program. But I didn't know. We've got to make sure our parents know. It means hiring, exposing students and families to potential STEM pathways through physical, virtual, post-secondary, and corporate field trips. So again, getting them out into these different places to see what it looks like. So it's really a wraparound approach. It's not just about the students. It's not just about the educators. It's not just about the families. It's about the whole package, right? Making sure our students get what they need, our educators can provide it, and our families understand it, can support it, and even can benefit from it. Next slide. So, now we're getting to the money part. If you've watched education for more than 5 minutes, you know that every educator has about 100 hats. They all do a lot. From superintendent on down, you wear about 1 million hats. Because you have to, because money's always been limited in education. Ratio of students to teachers has always been limited. So you wear a million hats because as educators, we want to give our kids opportunities, right? That's why we're there. That's why we get up every morning and get excited about work. So instead of giving them another hat to wear, another thing to do, oh, by the way, on top of your lesson plans, now you need to go do this. On top of teaching all day, now you need to go do this. We want to put a project management organization in place that does a couple of things. One, it tracks the return on investment of this program. It tracks how many of our students successfully go through this program and go into a career pathway. And it gives us feedback on, as a community, what we need to do to continue it to grow. So, the project management organization, the good news is 2 of these 5 boxes are already covered. We already have college and career coordinators. We already have individual high school advisors. What we don't have are 3 EPSO coordinators. So that would be 1 for each school district, 1 apprenticeship coordinator for all 3 districts to make sure that they're coordinating those efforts with industry, and 1 reconnect coordinator, which is that family piece. Bringing families in for these career opportunities, bringing children who have already graduated from our system and want to get into a career opportunity. It's reconnecting them to those opportunities. But all this stuff, just like everything else, costs money, right? We'll talk about that in a second. Next slide. This isn't, you can skip this one, this is no big deal. Okay, this one is a big deal. 20 years from now, I will not be the superintendent of Haywood County Schools. I will be at home enjoying some retirement, I hope, in a very peaceful environment. But somebody's going to be in Haywood County as superintendent in 20, 25 years. Someone's going to be in Tipton, someone's going to be in Lauderdale. And we want to make sure this work continues. So you can't rest it just on the shoulders of those 3 superintendents. You have to have an advisory committee that really addresses the needs of these communities and how the work has to progress over time, because things are moving fast, y'all. I remember, this really dates me, when my daughter was born, who's now 26, I had my very first cell phone. It was one of those flip phones. You had to text, it was like 3 times. You had to touch 1 key to get to the right letter. In 26 years, we've gone from that to just amazing things, right? Think about in another 20 years, what is that going to look like? So we have to make sure this progresses with the time and with the speed of industry and with the speed of technology. So this is how we do it. We have all these different colors or different groups. First, at about 1 o'clock there, you have the HTL superintendents. And those 3 individuals, the 3 of us right now, and later in time, the people who take our places, will be accountable for the HTL strategy and external communications, what I'm doing right now, telling you about this, making sure we have all the pieces together, and making sure it's happening within each of our districts. Then we're going to have industry partners at the table on this advisory committee, and what they do is ensure alignment with labor force and market needs, keeping up with the technology, right? Post-secondary partners to ensure alignment with post-secondary education opportunities and needs. So keeping that line of communication open. Families to represent initiative audience and perspective and share with networks. So getting the word out. When you leave here, I hope you go talk to somebody about this. I heard about this thing today. Y'all need to hear about it. So making sure we get the word out in our communities. Community leaders who will align to the context of the community development, so which Mayor Rawls has done an amazing job of making sure our community has the pieces in place that allow the growth to continue. And then pilot district superintendents, we said this was a program, right, that we want others, if we pilot it and do it well, that they will want to emulate. So we're going to transfer that knowledge and capacity to other districts for pilot models. You know, sometimes, and I'm one of those too, I was a teacher for a long time, and you kind of want to hang on to your little secret sauce, right? Because you've got this thing and you know how to make it work and you know how to get children to achieve. But we can't do that with something like this. We've got to share it. So after we've gone through it, we can share it with other districts and they can do the same thing because we're all here for children, right?
Amen.
A way to grow. I think it's now the money slide. No, this one, you can skip this one. Here's the money slide. Okay. So what does this cost? Okay, don't go all the way down to 27 million because that'll make you not be able to breathe. We'll start at the top. Altogether 27 million, but let's break that down. 8 million is district plan investments for STEM college, career exploration, students, educators, and families. We already have that part, y'all. A large part of it. How? Through the ISM grants that every district, hopefully in the state, applied for and qualified for and got. We got 1.5 million. So we already have a good portion of this money, and we have industry partners who have recently reached out, interested, based on all the conversations we've been having, to help support that. First year of launch, remember we talked about that project management organization? People cost money, right? Their time to do these jobs costs money. So 3 million would be for those EPSO coordinators, 3 of those for a total of 187,000. The apprenticeship coordinator, 1 at 62,000, which we do all 3 districts. The reconnect coordinator, 1, who does all 3 districts at 62.5, and then the mechatronics lab and instructors at 2 million. Again, we have some of that money already. Then if you talk about this over 5 years, you have recurring needs. Those are all your recurring needs that over 4 years will cost $16 million additionally. But what I really want to draw your eye to is the yellow at the bottom. Total cost per student, because you look at that number, 27 million, you think, oh my goodness. It's $339 a child. That's not that much money. When you break it down like that, and you think about how many lives you're changing, that's not a lot of money. So I really, if I had designed this slide, it'd be at the top, but I didn't, so it's at the bottom. But that's what you gotta think about. What is your cost per child? So, and I think that is the last slide, is it? Directing, yes. Not important, that's more technical. So that is HTL University. That's what it's all about. So hopefully you will be hearing more about it. I know that the 3 superintendents, we were invited to the governor's conference in Chattanooga to present this, which is a really good sign because that means people are paying attention. When we met with the Deputy Secretary for Economic and Workforce Development, the person who was with him, Amy, not this Amy, different Amy, is interested in us presenting at a national conference for the nation. So it's catching on. And I kind of held on to it for a minute because I didn't want to get excited when there wasn't traction, but we're getting traction. So now it's time to talk about it. So that's why I asked to come here today, and that's why I asked to share with you, and I hope you'll talk about it as well. And certainly if you have any questions, concerns, ideas, whatever those may be, feel free to reach out. Everyone knows my email now. You can email me anytime. It may take me a day or 2 to respond because they're starting to pile up, but I will respond, and we really do want to hear other people's ideas because this has kind of been created in a vacuum with a group of people, and now we're beginning to roll it out. So it's a living, growing document, and will change over time. But thank you for giving me the time to share with you today, and I hope that you are as excited as I am about the potential.
Are there any questions from all of them?
I guess I could have asked that. I apologize. I can accept it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. Super excited. I've talked to the other 2 superintendents, and they were just waiting till she got in place, so to pull the trigger. So people are watching, the nation is watching, the region is watching, and our children, our future, that's counting on us. $339 per student. But you gotta have a plan, and we gotta eliminate the silos. So thank you for coming and sharing. It's rare that we have a school superintendent come to attend our city council meetings, and this is not your first visit, and I know it won't be your last. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the support. Thank you for letting me come.
Okay. Moving along on our agenda, we have resolution number 1046, equipment purchase. What you have before you is a resolution for the purchase of a 40-yard half-heel, half-pack 40-yard front loader, which is our front loader garbage vehicle, at $188,041.46. We do have a good fund balance in our solid waste, and there's a revenue generating fund. And this is of course, with availability, we got off track. We have been getting one every other year, one every 2 years, and this will put us back on track. Once these vehicles start to go into the shop, there's only one place to take them, and it gets to be pretty expensive. So we have the funding available, we have the availability available. I'm not sure about the exact delivery date, but River City Hydraulics says they can have one to us in a pretty quick fashion. Did I miss anything with that? Okay. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion, we approve resolution number 1046. Do I hear a motion? Motion, do I hear a second? Second. Are there any questions or concerns? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it know by the sign of aye. Those opposed, nay. 1046 passes. Next, we have our community development report. Okay, we know Ms. Matthews is out with her family, but we have Sebastian here from A2H. Did you want to come up and give us a brief update about what we have for the multimodal project?
Yes.
One of the engineers who works for A2H, so he's coming. He's been assigned this project, and we know, right for that flag, it's been a long time coming for Mercer Road.
Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor and Board, for inviting me out to talk about this project that we are working on for you all's community. I'm going to tell you about some of the work that we've been doing up to this point and what we are to expect going forward to get this project up and running for you guys. Right now, we are in the NEPA phase of this project. In the early part of December, we reached out to TDOT and started coordinating with them, sending them maps, photos, project descriptions, FEMA maps. We put together a 30% functional plan, hazardous material documentation to send over to them so they can start coordinating with the other TDOT environmental departments. They have about 6 of them. On January 4th, one of their departments, the TDOT ecology section, reached out to us and wanted us to put together a report for them by a professional quality hydrologic professional. We got that report together and submitted that to them on March 31st. After we submitted that report to them on March 31st, TDOT reached out to us on March 4th and let us know that they had received it and we can move forward with putting together our NEPA documents. NEPA documents are the environmental documents that we put together on all of our local programs, type of projects, and we go back and forth with TDOT. We submit it, they provide comments to us, and eventually we get that document approved and we can move forward with the next phase. To this point, we submitted and had back and forth with TDOT on 4 different occasions. They have 20 days to respond to the documents that we have sent to them. Their last comments came on June the 23rd, and we resubmitted those environmental documents to them on just recently here, July 7th. We've had some, like I said, some good conversations with them. We feel like we are at the end of their review and their comments, because the last comments that we did get from them were extremely minor. Usually this process takes quite a while. It lasts for an approved NEPA document is good for 3 years. And it takes roughly about 8 months to a year to get it done. We're looking to get this done here real soon. In the request for qualifications that was sent out to us to bid on this project, it mentioned that the NEPA phase will be done in October 2023. I think we're gonna beat that date and get this NEPA approved probably no later than August, but we're hoping that in the next round of comments that we won't have any comments that'll actually be approved. That's the work we've been doing up to this point. We had surveyors out, they got a survey. Like I mentioned before, we've already put together a 30% functional plan to submit with those NEPA documents. So going forward, we're gonna start, once we get the approval from the NEPA documents, and we cannot proceed forward until we get that approval. If we proceed forward and don't get the approval, the funding for the project will be in jeopardy. This is a multimodal project, and so the state is paying 95% of the overall fee for the project, and the community, you guys are paying 5%. But after we get the NEPA approval, we'll continue developing the plans up to 100%. There are a lot of certifications that we'll have to go through TDOT to get utility certification, Title VI coordinator. We'll have to coordinate with TDOT Railroad Division to make sure we got all the certifications needed and approved and concurred upon by TDOT in order for when we are done with the plans, they will request funding for construction for the project. We anticipate that maybe this time next year, we will be breaking ground on that project. And like I think the mayor already mentioned before, it is Mercer Road, so we will be putting in curb and gutter. We'll be doing some drainage. We'll be putting in sidewalks along Mercer Road up to Dupree. There are already some pedestrian heads at Dupree and Mercer. We're looking to utilize those to try to save on some cost for the project. In the grant, they estimated that the construction cost is gonna be in the neighborhood of $240,000 for the project. We've done some initial calculations and we're hovering around that cost. We are at about $730,000 with what we've designed so far and submitted to TDOT. So going forward, we'll be looking back at the original grant application and making sure we're putting together a product that's not only safe, but is also in line with the original budget. So when TDOT goes and requests the funding from the Federal Highway Association, we should have no problem getting funding for this project. And just to back up a little bit and tell you, when I first met the mayor, we met out at the site. It was the mayor, one of our owners, Pat Harcourt, and our surveyor. And while we were at the site discussing which side of the road was best to put the development on, the north or south, we noticed that a gentleman was walking from the apartment complex. Looks like he was on his way to the Walmart. And we stood back and we noticed that currently it's a 2-lane road with ditches on the side, and it's extremely tight. And he had to really hug the side of the pavement and walk, and we watched this, the big rigs and cars would stop, and they would pass in one lane in order to give this guy some safety in order for them not to continue to drive up and down the street, and he'd have to jump in the ditch or something like that. And when we saw that, I think I mentioned it to the mayor, and we all made notice of it, and that really touched me. And I said, and when I got back to the office, the team that I work with, I let them know what we witnessed out there, so they can have a personal connection to the project as well. So I'm committed to the project. A2H is committed to the project. The team that I'm working with on the project is committed to the project. And like I mentioned before, we're gonna put together a good product that's within budget and it's gonna be safe for the community.
Any questions from Alderman?
Will there be a public comment, or will that happen after TDOT gets it? You know,
Public comment?
public comment, public awareness, public questions
Yes.
down the road? Or?
Yes, we can put together a public meeting on the project, and we can bring out the plan, we can put some graphics together, and show you guys exactly what it is we'll be doing, what side of the road everything's gonna be on, about how much it costs. So if you guys wanna do it, we can put it together, absolutely. Great suggestion. Any other questions?
No, I was just happy to see you
Miss Flagg, just to give you some history, this is in her ward, on her street, she walked and got petitioned several years ago. She told me, I worked with 2 or 3 mayors to get this done. If you get this done, I'm gonna retire, and I dance at your wedding. So, this is a committed project. Chief Evans lives on that road. You know, this is a safety issue for our community. And people not only live there, but people all over town say, Mayor, can we do something about Mercer Road? This is our second round applying for this multimodal grant because of the competition. But we did not give up on it, and we asking everybody for patience, manage your expectations, and thank you for your expertise.
Well, thank you guys for helping us out.
I saw it yesterday, and I had some of the residents in the area to call me, and, because we had a meeting that you were referring to, we had a meeting 3 or 4 years ago, and I bet I had 80 people out there, and they had all kinds of questions concerning this, so we've been on it for a long time, but I saw what you saw last week, I saw it yesterday, I see it anytime.
Yes, ma'am. And as soon as we get this NEPA approval, if you guys wanna have us out and bring the residents out and have us talk about this, and we'll have some visuals so everybody can see what we got going
Let
on.
me know when.
You got the right one? All right, thank you, and thank you for 18 days. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so also, while we're talking about our community development, as you notice on your screen, the city of Brownsville has been awarded a home grant through THDA. It's something that Alderman want to do, and we'll be, and that grant will be administered through the Southwest Development District, $660,000, $377. And this will go for home improvements. Some of the restrictions have been lifted of age and whatever. I have people every day that we always say, I need some help with my house. So we're happy that we got that grant award. Also, I'm happy to announce, I think the governor's already done so, but we have a site development grant of $1 million. We were awarded $1 million site development grant for sewer improvements at I-40 Advantage Park, just in the nick of time. It'll be putting in 6,200 feet of linear pipe and a pump station. This is $1 million grant. Of course, some of the budgeting seems to be over. It's $1.6 million, but we're gonna work to get that down. Have a meeting set up with Brownsville Energy Authority tomorrow. This will provide sewer, not only for the front side of I-40 Advantage Park, but the rear, 165 acres we still have to develop. So we're excited about the grant opportunities that come through our community. I can't say enough about ECD and what they've done for us, and continue to support our development, because we can afford this just on our own. Just like HTL, it's collaboration, it's working with the state. So many times, oh gosh, you gotta go through the NEPA phase. We have to jump through a lot of hoops. People just say, why don't you just go out and just get a grant? Just get in the grant. They're competitive, and they have to be sustainable. You have to have accountability, and you have to stay within budget. So I'm very happy and pleased about the teamwork that's been done here, not only since I've been in office, but even before I came in office, about how we utilize grant funding to move our community forward without any debt associated with it. Multimodal was a tough one, but we're happy about the home grant. Okay, we're now going to our financial management report from Ms. Sherry Bassman.
Are there any concerns about the expenditures and revenue for the month of June? The information we got is for the end of the fiscal year. Any questions concerning?
How close are we on knowing, excuse me, how close are we on knowing where we ended up last year?
We're still waiting on the final report from our auditors, so I can't give you a percentage at this point.
Well, it looks, just looking through the report, it looks like we didn't spend 100% in most of the accounts.
It does not.
Yeah.
It actually looks like in fund, general fund, we only spent 84% of that budget. So,
Yeah.
but I can't give you a final time for the auditors.
Hey, just one other question. I was looking at this just a minute ago. The Delta Heritage Center, and I know this is a minor piece of that, but the shop out there, looks like it was brought in more revenue than
Gift shop.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
Ms.
yeah.
Sonia?
It just looked like it was a big uptick, and we can talk about that later if you don't have that answer.
Well, I mean, you are correct, there has been since, the end of May, an uptick in gift shop sales.
So there's obviously been an uptick in tourism out there at the Delta Heritage Center as well too, since
Yes.
last night. And just, while you're standing up, so you think Blue Oval, and people coming in with Blue Oval, coming to look at the site, has had any impact on that, or?
I think that has, I think the passing of Tina Turner, I think summer travel, people are less afraid of COVID now. so people who have been putting off traveling are traveling now. And I think that some of the marketing that we've done is also enticing people to come here as well, so.
I know that, it's directly related to finance, so, I've seen a lot of license plates that I don't normally see riding up down the streets of Brownsville, Tennessee, so.
Well, we've seen right at 15,000 visitors just since mid-May.
I think it's having a huge impact on our economy.
Absolutely. Any other questions or comments on the financial management report? Ms. Baxter, you have anything else you want? Okay, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the financial management report as presented. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Do I hear a second? Been moved and properly second. Are there questions, concerns? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor, let it know by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Management report approved. Okay, couple things I have here on my notes. CTE is Career Technical Education. I hadn't seen a presentation Superintendent Marsh didn't do. Somebody was going, what is CTE? It used to be VOTEC, vocation, shop, whatever you want to call it. It's Career Technical Education. Yeah. And I've got one of our instructors here from the TCAT, Alderman Pugh, that knows all about the CTE. Also, I want to let you know that we're going to continue, although we're dissolving HTL as a whole, we're committed to continue the 8th grade career fair. When she talks about middle school career exposure, the 3 counties HTL got together and we bring in 3,000 to 4,000 8th graders. Every 8th grader in the region gets to come through and have a hands-on experience with 80+ vendors, including Ford, FedEx, the Hatchie Wildlife, you name it, they're there. And it gets a conversation going. Each child has to fill out an information form with their parents saying what their career path is going to be. So if they're interested in medical, they go down there, they have to go to certain booths. And after they can check those booths off, then they can go to any place they want to go. So this is something we are committed to. We feel like it's necessary, with or without Blue Oak, that we start our children off on a career path. And we have a direct path now. We know the instructional value of it. We know what the career path will like and with your paycheck. So people talk about TCAT. TCAT is the Tennessee College of Applied Technology. And I always like to say to our business, we're applying this technology to your paycheck. So if you bring the jobs, you have to bring the workforce. The way you bring the workforce is you build a workforce pipeline. So we'll continue to do that through HTL and through our school system. We did have Income America. I can't say enough about the investment that Income America is going to make here. I think you've heard about the 190 jobs by 2028 and $152 million investment. They're in the due diligence part. Mr. Yu and his team came. They are stationed out of Commerce, Georgia, and did have opportunity to go down and visit their plant on the site, so they're ready to move forward. So it's big, and that's a big win. We've been working on this since before I came in office, but really put our foot on the gas with these ECD grants. We've received, the city of Brownsville received 3 site development grants. As soon as you close one, we'd all apply for another. Then we also received 2 Invest Prep grants from TVA. They put in the road, level the site, put sewer adjacent to the site, and continue to develop what is going to be, to me, our cash cow. Blue Oval City is Blue Oval City. It has a direct impact on us. But the tier 1 suppliers like Inchem, that provides the electrolytes to go inside the EV batteries, they'll be transporting the liquid to the site for SK Innovations, and then they'll be recycling. So it's carbon neutral. They won't be putting any waste into our sewer system, 0. The only waste will be from washing their hands or using the bathroom. So high tech, high paying, forward thinking productivity right here in Brownsville, Tennessee. So that's something that we should all be proud of. Okay, next slide. West Star graduation. I have my West Star graduation here. I see a lot of West Star alumni here, but it's a very unique program. I was vacillating between making sure I connected with my class, including Superintendent Percy Hamlin from Fayette County, Marcus Houston from Tipton County, and even some property owners who bought property since we started the class and working with Inchem and back and forth. So they were patient with me. Really good class, great program. Can't say enough about West Star UT and our West Star family. So I'm proud of their graduation. We'll be coming up soon, as I mentioned before, July 20th, at 5:30 right here in the Foyer City Hall. I'll be doing a State of the City address. There's so many moving parts. We talk about HCL, we talk about grants, we talk about opportunity, a new chief in our fire department, a new chief in our police department. I think it's time we kind of come together, see where we are, and kind of point in the direction we're going. We won't be here long at all. I think we get right down to the point and just talk to each other, communicate each other. There's been some division in our community, historically speaking, but with COVID, it pulled us further and further apart. The only time we see each other is at Walmart. So I think it's time to get together and talk about the business of the city of Brownsville. So this is important as we move forward. Okay, of course, back to school. Back to school bash is Friday, July 21st at the Brownsville Farmers Market. Of course, our Vice Mayor, Ms. Flagg, always does that. So it's sponsored by Ward 2 and myself. We'll continue, everyone is welcome to come. This is something she does on an annual event from 5 to 7 p.m. July 21st at the Farmers Market. We're also doing a job fair. We have new openings at the police department, public works department, central dispatch. Sign you need someone else at the Delta Heritage Center, and our One Safe Place. We're also going to look at creating a new position that we'll talk about in detail at our board retreat for economic and community development. As we move our community forward, they run simultaneously. You gotta have housing, you gotta have transportation, you have to have daycare. That's community development, but that's economic development. We have to have quality schools, career pathways. We have to have safety in our community, whether it be on Mercer Road and our fire department, police department. So we need a coordinator. I've talked to developers every day. Somebody has a great idea. They want to spend 2 to 3 hours talking about seeing Browns. They get excited. They can't wait to come back. We have to have someone driving, pushing that traffic so we can elevate our opportunities. Everyone that comes is an opportunity, but they also have challenges like our grant. So we're having the job fair July 29th at 9 to 12 p.m. Right here at City Hall. Business casual, attire required. We're going to help people bring in their applications and the interview right on site, and we're going to staff up. We're going to team up and move forward. Okay, I talked about the site development grant. Also, we had the opportunity, the Deputy Secretary of the Department of Energy had the opportunity to come to Blue Oval City. The Deputy Secretary, Mr. Turk, in his department alone. They
Paint an 8x10 canvas with artist Marty Todd. There's no charge for that. It's sponsored by the Brownsville Arts Council. You do have to sign up. It's the first 25 people that sign up. So call City Hall if you're, not City Hall, sorry. Call Parks and Rec if you're interested in that. Friday night, following the back to school bash at the farmers market, there will be music there. Jams on Jefferson from 7 to 9 with Nia Soul. On Saturday, all the activities are at the Delta Heritage Center starting at 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., live music, arts and crafts. And on Sunday evening at 7 p.m. at the Amp for Praise in the Park. So, all free, just show up. We also have a travel journalist who is going to be in town next week, who is going to be attending these events and doing some work for Visit Brownsville, doing some content development. So, show up so we have a huge crowd for him. Thank you.
Okay. What are those dates again, Simon?
The Thursday through Sunday, the 20th through the 23rd.
20th through the 23rd, July. Thank you. All right. I want to invite everybody to make sure we take some pictures as we go out into the foyer. That's what we're here. It's a family time. It's a great time to celebrate our leadership. Thank you to the Board of Aldermen and Ms. Bachelor and to the entire staff. And thank you, Superintendent Marsh, for attending. This is good work, good stuff, and I'm so proud and happy and humbled to continue to serve as your mayor. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion. We adjourn.
Motion.
Motion, do I hear a second? All in favor, let it know by aye. Everybody get up and go home.